And so we are not drinking tequila right now, but we're proving a point.
Welcome to PricePlow.
Before we go further, there's a reason this bottle of tequila is on the table. Mike can explain his concept, which I totally agree with.
So Mark and I were just kind of shooting it, and one thing I said is like, hey, I know that if I buy a NutraBio supplement, I know exactly where it's getting made. I can fly to Newark and then come over here to Middlesex, and here it is. And so I think that there should be a law that states on every bottle I should know where this supplement was capped and where this or where it was bottled. And so Mark then pulled out his tequila bottle here, which actually shows.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, because you always hear me talking about why I manufacture, because I want to control everything. And I talked about contract manufacturers and how I don't know what they're doing, but there are some great contract manufacturers out there, and I'm sure Mike knows a lot of them, and they should get credit for it. So when he brought that up, I was just showing him, in the tequila world, there's 100 different distillers. In Mexico, that's it. There's over 1,000 brands. But by law, see this number, known 1493? That is the distillation, that's the company that's making it. So anybody can look at this bottle, and they might trust the brand, they might trust the brand owner, but now they know whether they can trust the manufacturer of the brand itself.
And the pros, they know that stuff. Right. They visited it.
And I think you're right. I think that would be a great idea for our industry, because it protects the good manufacturers, contract manufacturers, that are getting a bad rap from the bad contract manufacturers. Because we were talking, there's some great ones out there.
Right.
But you can't imagine how many of these brands that pop up out of nowhere. And it's not the owner's fault all the time. They might be really enthusiastic about making a brand, and they go to this guy who's making a contract, someplace out here somewhere in a warehouse. He doesn't, the new guy and the brand owner doesn't know all these GMP laws. He doesn't know that this guy's scamming him and making crap in this non-GMP facility, not mixing, not blending, not testing anything. And that would be a great control system.
So yeah, that was one idea. I guess my question above that would be, are there any other... It's not even noon yet, maybe later. So are there any other ideas that you have? Like, okay, so you've been doing the manufacturing stuff for 16 years now. Are there any laws that you think should be there, kind of like that one? Are there other ideas that we could have, that if I was like a professional lobbyist, that you would be lobbying me for, to here's how you fix the supplement industry? Or not fixed, but improve.
Yeah, I've got to say, as far as the manufacturing, when you start looking over CFR 111, and I'm not into government over-regulation. I think, like you said before, I think we need to regulate ourselves for the most part and get all this government interaction out of our lives. But I do agree with CFR 111, because a supplement is a drug, a food is a drug. Anything you're putting into your body can cause all type of reactions. And we just think of it as, okay, I'm taking a crappy protein, so I'm not going to get a benefit of it. But you can be taking nootropics, you can be taking other products that actually get you depressed, can mess you up, can kill you in some different ways. So food is a drug, dietary supplement is a drug. So CFR 111 is an amazing set of rules, and I'm totally for it. And by the way, the industry was for it. The industry pushed it forward. Maybe not the sports supplement portion of the industry, but the overall dietary supplement industry. The laws and regulations there require us to test all the raw materials. We can't just take them in from the outside. Require us to test the finished product. So we see these products that fail out there, like, everybody in the media says, they don't even test them enough to do. No, the law says you have to scientifically validate that product for purity, potency, composition, and identity. You have to test that product to make sure you're making label claim before you sell it to the consumer. So this whole set of laws of CFR 111, when you look deep into it, if you're doing it properly, are amazing and really protect the consumer.
So getting back to the original question, has there ever been a time where you're like, maybe there should be a law on that because it's a little too gray area? Or do you think that it's more, the laws are pretty good for the most part and just not enough enforcement? Do you have any?
The manufacturing laws are pretty good. I think where I start to get upset is in the in the labeling portion of it, the proprietary blends that are put on there.
Would you, if you're a congressman, would you make proprietary blends illegal?
I don't think you can. You can't. I mean, foods, proprietary blends come from foods.
Okay,
when you buy a food and you're buying donuts, you don't care about how much wheat or flour is in there. You care about the macronutrients. Nobody says, there's 5 extra milligrams, and that's where it was adopted from there to here. So now we care about, in our industry, we care about every ingredient. We care how much citrulline malate is in there. In a donut, you don't care how much flour is in there. So it was adopted from foods and brought into dietary supplements. It really needs to be changed. I would love the FDA to come in and say, okay, if it's an active ingredient, show the consumer the dosage. If it's a drug, the consumer's going to know the exact dosage. But if it's a supplement,
Right.
we don't have to put that. So yeah, I don't think it would ever happen, but I would love to see more disclosure on a label, full disclosure on a label. Okay, maybe not your flavoring system and stuff like that.
Right.
Protect that proprietary part so somebody can't copy your color and flavor and consistency. But if you're saying that this is my pre-workout and I'm putting in these 8 active ingredients, and now the consumer is looking to that and saying, okay, I know what citrulline does, I know what beta-alanine does, I know what betaine does, I'm getting a benefit from this product,
Right.
but then it's not in there. Because the whole dosage is 4 grams, and maybe each one of those has to be from 1 to 3 to 5 grams, and it really
no
should
way
be
it's going to
20.
happen, right?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. So it's legal, and the marketing pushes the benefits of all these ingredients, but the consumer never realizes that they're not getting it. And I'm sick and tired of everybody coming back at me and saying, "Oh, proprietary blends protect our secret formula." Bullshit. You have to list the ingredient on the label. Once you list the ingredient on the label, I send it to the lab and they test for it, and I have your formula a week later. Yeah, depending on the complexity of the formula, it might cost me $300 up to $3,000. But if you have a secret formula that's selling $100 million, I'll spend $3,000 to
Right.
copy it, of course. Who's it hiding it from? It's hiding it from the consumer who's not going to take that pre-workout, send it out, test it, and find out there's only 2 grams of citrulline malate instead of 6 grams or whatever.
Right.
You're really only hiding it from the consumer. I just had this argument 3 times this past 2 weeks with high-end people in this industry who are still trying to tell me that that's protecting our formula. Bullshit. There's not a formula out there that's not on the label unless you're not disclosing.
That's very illegal. Yeah,
So that's not the issue. But if it's on the label, I can test for it, and I can know. And that's 99% of the time. You can't really test for whey protein isolate versus whey protein concentrate. So there's a few ingredients that blend together that you really can't figure out. But anything else, if there's caffeine in there, I'll test for caffeine. I know to the milligram how much caffeine is in there. So that's nonsense. We're part of a bigger industry. The sports supplement industry is part of the overall dietary supplement industry. That industry is going in the right direction. There's something called clean label that's just taking over the country. In the sports supplement industry, nobody even knows what that is yet. Clean label is, and it has a lot of definitions. It's not set in stone yet, but it's, hey, how do we create a label that people can read and understand? Get rid of all the stuff on there, all these chemicals and things that people don't want in the product anyway. Clean it out. Make the label clean. Get rid of the mag steroid, silicon dioxide, all these excipients. Make the label easier to understand. Get rid of, and part of it is getting rid of artificials and non-GMOs and stuff like that too. But it's basically how do we make a label that's clean, that has full disclosure, that has transparency. That's where the larger industry is
And you've
going.
been doing that forever, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
that's where the industry is going, and the sports supplement manufacturers have to look at the overall industry
Right.
and say, if that's where everybody's going, we have to take our segment in that direction. Because I got to tell you, it has changed in the last 20 years. 20 years ago, nobody gave a crap what was in their product. Nobody heard about proprietary blends. When I outlawed proprietary blends in this company in 2001, I couldn't even get my own consumer to understand what it was talking about. It was a foreign language to them. But now consumers are doing it because more and more sports have gotten involved. The average person is taking dietary supplements who's just working out at the gym. 15 years ago they weren't. CrossFit is taking over. MMA is taking over. All these people are getting involved and they're asking for more and more information. Our segment of the industry has to go in that direction. They have to get disclosure. Stop the bullshit about proprietary blends protect my secret formula. Right, okay, really. And by the way, we're in a renaissance right now. It is changing. There's a lot of, it's not just me anymore from 15 years ago. There are a lot of brands that have launched in the last year and a half that have pre-workouts that are formulated great, have no proprietary blends. A lot of these guys are coming from, it's their second time around, they're coming from other brands, they broke off or whatever, but they're creating really good products. I mean, pre-workouts 5 years ago, there were 1 or 2 out there. Now, I don't know, there's 30, 40, 50, I can't even count how many non-proprietary blends. Intra-workouts, pretty much all because they're a newer segment. Proteins, forget it. The industry is just...
There's like 4 of you,
Nobody's doing it. Everybody's hiding their proteins and proprietary, worse than proprietary blends. They're not even putting it on the supplement facts panel. They're burying it underneath in the ingredient statement where they don't even have to list the total of the blend. Right. And now you have no clue.
Is that something you change with protein specifically?
I would love the
that's kind of
FDA
like a
to say,
food. That's more like a food kind of supplement, though.
yeah, I would love the FDA to say, hey, the ingredients, there's 2 parts of that dietary supplement. There's the panel itself, and there's something called the ingredient statement. That's the fine print underneath. And usually what's in there traditionally is all the additives, the flavors, the sweeteners, and stuff like that. But what companies have realized over the years is if I put a proprietary blend in the supplement facts panel, I don't have to tell you the individual ingredient dosages, I just have to tell you the total. But if I take that same blend and I put it underneath in the ingredient statement, I don't have to tell you anything about it. And that's why they put it down there, because if somebody puts out, a 20-gram dosage of mixed proteins, and it yields 19.9 grams of protein, and somebody calculates that and says, holy shit, that's 99%. That's impossible to do.
Right.
That's why they don't do it. I'm not saying all companies are scamming. A lot of companies just follow suit, and that's the way it's done, so they still do it. And a lot of brand owners don't know it. So I don't want to get
of course not,
out there that every company is doing that to cheat. But what we have to do as an industry is we have to get away from that. We have to take all those active ingredients, like you said earlier, out of the ingredient statement on the bottom. If it's active, put it up top, list the dosage, have transparency, let the consumer know exactly what you're putting in the product. Leave that section for your sweeteners, your sucrose, your stevia, any additives that you're putting in. Okay, put that on the bottom. But be open and honest and transparent with the consumer. Let them know what you're doing. If our segment, the sports supplement industry, does not go in this direction that the rest of the industry is going in, and that consumers are now starting to demand, we're going to have a problem 5, 10, 15 years down the line. The good news is, these new guys coming up, and I don't mean new guys in the industry, I mean guys who are leaving their old companies and doing it. They're going in this direction. It's like a renaissance. It's a revolution.
That's fun.
So
and you're leading it the whole way. Cool.
Yeah,
Any other changes you'd propose, or are we?
Yeah, I'm just a big proponent of openness and honesty.
Awesome.
There's things like, you hear me talk about whey protein concentrate, and I think that's a big scam, because whey protein concentrate listed on a label is a proprietary blend in
let's skip that for another video. So this is kind of how we're going to fix the FDA when we become lobbyists someday. I'm just joking, but
let's get back to that question.
We will, though. Yeah, let's make
the FDA question. The biggest issue is not what you asked me before, that the regulations are not there. The biggest issue is the FDA has created these laws, Congress has passed these laws. They are tough, but they never had the ability to follow through. They're given the bark but no bite. They never had funding. Now that the Office of Dietary Supplement has been changed to its own office, not just a division or department within the other, they're getting their own leadership, they're getting their own funding, and maybe that will change.
Have you felt anything from that yet?
Not yet.
November 2016 right now, just so you know, so there's
not yet,
happening.
But hopefully much more money is going to be pumped into that office. The audits will start gearing up. Instead of 20-25% of audits out there, they're going to be auditing 90-something% of the companies out there, and that will change the industry. But that's a key thing. That change that they just did, hopefully, doesn't just go political. They actually use that funding, use that money, use their new leadership, and they start going after CFR 111 and auditing more. But let's not get lost, because let's combine these couple topics that we just did. GMP is manufacturing.
Right.
There are a lot of really good high-end GMP contract manufacturers out there that make a perfect product.
Right.
Okay? But if the formula still sucks, you have a perfect piece of product. So you have to combine both. You have to start with a formulation that's not window dressed, that's not just fairy dusting ingredients, and they're not proprietary blends and hiding everything, and you don't really care about the outcome. You just want to make it look good on the label, because that's what a lot of products are. They send it to a GMP manufacturer. That GMP manufacturer makes it to perfection. No contamination. Perfect label claim. Every ingredient tested. They then go to a third-party GMP certification company. Boom, they test it, they put it on there, now they have certification. But the product still sucks because the formulation is garbage. None of these GMP certifications or the FDA care about your formula. They're not. They can't. They just can't do it. They can't say whether this is a good or bad formula. They're just making sure your label claim and it's manufactured properly. So the consumer's got to realize that all of these things are a double-edged sword. GMP is a double-edged sword. Certifications are a double-edged sword because you start to believe in them. And if you believe in a GMP sticker and a GMP contract manufacturer, and that guy's doing a real good job, then you buy that product. Oh, it's been third-party tested. I will buy it. But this formula still sucks. So what are you doing? So, the whole industry's got to kind of move into this non-proprietary, full label disclosure, GMP, manufacturing, and when those two come together, that's when the consumer is protected. That's when the consumer gets a great product. Formulation's great. Manufacturing is great. You put them together, the consumer gets benefit, and that's where this industry has to go.
All right. Well, this is Mike with PricePlow. We're at the NutraBio headquarters with Mark Glazier, and always fun to get you going.
Welcome to PricePlow.